I've had loved ones tell me, Danae, you need to either write a book or do a movie because your life. Story time. I'm not playing by the rules. They can't take me for no fool. Are you in the ride with me? Hello, everyone. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I know I'm usually always on my couch for my story times, but I said, let me just switch it up a bit. I really just want to tell y'all about how y'all really cannot uh, turn a blind eye to these jobs, which you probably already know, but I personally learned you cannot turn a blind eye to these recruiters as well. I always kind of knew that recruiters could be shady, but I didn't know it could be this level of shadiness. I'm telling y'all, this year people was wilding this year, okay? But it's okay because you really get to learn how greedy and how crazy and how evil people can be when money is involved, when their own selfish needs are involved, when things are just involved that they know can hurt you, but they don't care because they only just care about their own personal gain. So this story is actually earlier this year. So what happened was I ended up going back into corporate after taking like the summer off and really not wanting to go back into corporate. I really wanted to like never go back, but things happen. And I'm very fortunate because I know things be happening within the job market. I know it's not the easiest for some people right now. So I am grateful. So I ended up interviewing. Both interviews went really great, to the point I ended up getting two job offers in one day. So I took the second job, which is the one I'm going to talk about, because I'm like, okay, like it's hybrid, it seems like more of my kind of like, it was in a creative space, the creative AI space. So I'm like, that's pretty much what I do with me being on YouTube, with me doing content. So I can learn some more stuff. So I took it. It sounded great. It was a contract job. I'm like, okay, cool. Anywho, so far so good. And if you want to know what I do executive assistance. If you don't know what executive assistance is, it's when you're like booking travel, you're doing expenses for like vice presidents, senior vice presidents, CEOs, stuff like that. So I ended up supporting three people at the company. Okay, cool. So anywho, recruiter, again, I was a contractor. So a recruiter is the one that I am directly working with because they are the middleman between me and the actual company I'm working for. So far so good. I like the job. It's a real chill environment. I'm learning stuff about the creativity world. They're doing ads for companies like Pinterest and TikTok. I'm still interviewing though because I'm like, yeah, like as much as I like it here, a girl is still not gonna just be like, oh, let me not see what else is out there, especially since I took a pay cut. So I'm like, okay, let me just still interview and see what else is out there. So I'm not sure. I think I've mentioned this before, but my number one passion is music, creativity, and content and self help. That's all like secondary passions for me. And I'm grateful that I'm doing it right now on YouTube because it is a passion of mine, my second passion, but my number one passion is music. I do want to get into songwriting more next year. So I had an interview with a record label to be a EA, an executive assistant for a guy who was working at the record label. It wasn't like directly with music as far as like the job, like the guy I'll be supporting, but it was more like on the tech side. But it was still like in a record label. So I interviewed. It went good. I was kind of like about it or whatever because even though I really wanted to be with the company, I just from like as far as like the behind the scenes, like it was like really no benefits. It just wasn't like really like a huge upgrade as far as like something I could be like, okay, let me definitely drop where I'm at to go. Like especially where I'm at, I'm actually liking it so far. I'm getting used to it. And I'm just taking it as, okay, for me to really leave where I'm at, I gotta feel like it's worth it. Like, yes, I would love this industry. I would love to be in this record label, but I'm an adult and I got real life stuff I'm taking care of. So I got to still be smart. I'm like, okay. So again, I interviewed, it went good. Even when I got off that interview, I could usually tell when I got a job because it just goes so good. And I'm like, yeah, I most likely got it, you know? So, anyhow, 2 days later, I think a day or two later comes, and what happens? I get the job with the record label. So I get the job and I'm like, damn, like, all right. It was in the industry I really love. But as far as like, it had more cons than pros. Where I was currently at had more pros than cons. So I'm like, damn, like I was really stuck, y'all, because I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Like I'm asking God. I ended up asking loved ones. Like everybody was stuck. Like everybody I was speaking to was just like when I really broke down the pros and the cons of both jobs, everyone was confused. Like they was like, damn, sucks to be you. Like because this is really confusing. Like, so I was stuck. I was so stuck. But I'm like, you know what, Danae? Like, you know what you should do? You should go to your current company, which is go through the recruiter of the current company you are at. Tell them what it is. Tell them that, you have another position. Mind you, I'm with this current company I'm with only for like I think I was only there for about 2 months. So that was another thing too. I'm like, to have to pick up and leave after like a month or 2 months. I think it was like a month and a half I was there at the time. Yeah, I think I was only there for like a month and a half. So to pick up and leave and go to a whole other company and have to get used to that company and get used to that environment, especially when it feels like the cons are outweighing the pros, is just like, do I really? Just like, okay, let me just see what I could. So I prayed heavy, y'all. I prayed heavy to God. I'm like, God, what should I do? Like, I'm so confused. Now, of course, if I didn't already have a job and this record label came to me, I would have snatched it immediately. So I was just like, what do I do? What do I do? It came to my mind. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to the recruiter of the company I'm working for right now. I'm gonna just tell her that another job wants me and they're offering a little bit more. It wasn't even like a lot more, it was a little bit more. That's another reason why I didn't really take it either. I'm like, they offering a little bit more, but can y'all match? So she's like, oh, how much they're offering? So I tell her, and she said, okay, I'm gonna go to this lady that she worked with who's clearly higher than her. I think she was probably like a recruiting manager or something or whatever, but she always had to go through this lady, like always had to go through her. I'm like, do you know anything by yourself? Whatever. So she's like, yeah, I gotta talk to her and get back to you. I'm like, okay, whatever. So now a few days go by. Mind you, I told the record label, I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, just in case, I'm gonna have y'all. So I'm like, yeah, I could start this out today. I could start whatever. Mind you, they wanted me to start very soon, but I pushed it because I was trying to see what the current company I was with was going to say about giving me a raise, right? So I pushed it. They agreed to me pushing it. They like, okay, cool, no problem. I'm like, okay, that buys me some time. But now like a whole week almost go by and now I'm about to start this new job. So I'm supposed to start this new job on a Tuesday. It's now Thursday, which is the week before the Tuesday, if that makes sense. So I'm like, all right, it's Thursday now. Let me reach out to this recruiter because it's been crickets. It's been quiet, right? I go to the recruiter. I'm like, what's the update? Because this new job wants me to start in like 4 days. If y'all can't do it, it's okay. I'll just move on or I'll figure it out or I'll just see what I want to do from there. She's like, yeah, I told my manager about it, but let me just go to her again and see what's going on. So after we had that phone convo and me asking her what's the update, about an hour later, she gets back to me and she's like, they said yes to raising you, raising the money for you. I'm like, oh my God, okay. Then she said, oh, can you talk? I'm like, okay, cool. So we on the phone. She said, yeah, they love you. The company love you. Where you at? Of course, the company where I'm at. She said, the company that you're at right now, they love you. They would love to keep you. They say you're doing an amazing job. They didn't mind raising the money for you. They didn't mind. They just want to keep you. You could stay with the contract for as long as you want, unless something happens. But for the most part, you're good. So I'm like, okay, like I've been asking God for confirmation. And I felt like that was my confirmation to just stay. So I said, all right, I'll stay. Right. So anyhow, I turned down a record label. I told him like, look, like, I just can't do it. And it hurt me so bad to do that. But I'm like, again, it wasn't like an opportunity. Like I'm telling y'all, if the pros would have really outweighed the cons, I would have never cared anything about where I was at. I would have just took it, like, but it just felt like it's just it just didn't feel like it was really worth it. Like the only thing that was really worth it was the industry. Like I kid you not. But everything else just felt like so I turned it down. I turned it down and I'm like, woof, Lord, I hope I made the right decision. I'm like, okay, when is the pay rate gonna take change? Like when is it gonna go into effect? She's like, I'm updating the system right now. It should go into effect immediately. Okay. So mind you, I get paid with this job every week. That week comes, no update to my paycheck. I'm like, okay, it might take a little while. This just happened. Second week, no update. Third week. Now by the third week, I'm like, mind you, I am updating her as I go. I'm like, I see the changes didn't come through. Is everything okay? She's like, oh, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm gonna talk to HR about it. They're not sure what's going on either because I did make the change in the system. So I'm like, okay. So the third week comes. So I reach out to them a few days before that holiday, and I'm like, because I know people go on vacation. So I'm like, I'm still not seeing a change. It's been like 3 weeks. What's going on? No, no answer. Crickets. No answer. So I'm like, okay, they probably already on vacation. As you can hear, I'm giving a lot of benefit of the doubt. A lot of benefit of the doubt. Because it's like I was stuck between all right, this is what I got. This is what I chose. So I don't want to like do too much because, like this is what I chose. But then a part of me was like, nah, like you turned down something else for this. What's going on? Like, so I was really like, I was really in between. Like I was handling exactly how an in between person would handle it. like, like on some like I was handling like on some patience, but I was also like, what's going on? Like I was literally in between. So now I'm ghosted for a week. Again, it's a holiday week, so I give the benefit of doubt. I'm like, they'll get back to me next week when we're back in the office, when everybody's back in the office. Even when I wrote her again that holiday week, I even wrote her manager. Like I CC'd her manager in that email because I'm like, you always gotta go to this girl, so let me just CC her. So I give a whole week and a half, which is the next Wednesday. So when I didn't hear from them by that next Wednesday, y'all, after emailing them, I went directly to the company I'm with, right? And I went to the person, the recruiter of the actual company who I interviewed with. So now I'm going directly to the recruiter of the actual company. And I'm like, I slacked her. I slacked her and I'm like, hey, can we talk? So she usually gets back to me pretty fast. I noticed that she took a little while to get back to me, but I checked her calendar and I saw that she had some interviews coming up. She had meetings coming up. So I'm like, okay, she probably just preparing for the interview. Like, I mean, to interview someone. So she gets back to me about an hour and a half later. She says, sure, yeah. And then she puts time on my calendar. She puts time on my calendar for like 15 minutes. I found that a little odd. I kind of get to notice people's patterns and their ways within a short amount of time. Like I could tell when someone's being off. I can just tell certain things. Like, so knowing, like getting to kind of like see her ways within the short time I was there, she would usually be like, sure, find time on my calendar because she would offer that in the past. Find time on my calendar. My calendar is open. So the fact that she didn't do that and she said, sure, let me just put time on your calendar, and she just found an open slot on my calendar and put 15 minutes. If you know corporate, 15 minutes is never really a good sign. If you know, you know. So when I saw that 15 minutes, I said, now 5 minutes later, I get a text from the recruiting company I've been working with who have been ghosting me since last week. As soon as I got that text when she wrote me, the recruiting company, when she wrote me and was like, hey, Danae, are you free to talk today? I put two and two together real fast and I said, oh, yeah, they about to let me go. They about to let me go. I mean, like, come on now. Like, it was just, it wasn't rocket science, you know? Like, I'm just like, what are the odds that y'all both get back to me within a short gap in between? Like, 5 minutes later, I've been waiting to hear from you since last week. Like, clearly, y'all just spoke. Clearly. Like, so anywho, so when she said that, I said, oh yeah, they about to let me go. Yep, I know how this goes. And so I'm like, sure. So I go into like one of them private, we had like them private phone booths inside the office. I go in there and I'm just waiting. I'm like, yeah, hello. She said, yeah, Danae, blah, 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 blah. But unfortunately, your last day is tomorrow. Mind you, y'all, she's telling me my last day is tomorrow. And literally 3 weeks ago, I turned down that other job. So of course I lose my cool. Of course I lose my cool. I was just talking to a friend about that. She said, "Oh my God, you lost your cool." I said, "Yes, I lost my cool." It's a lot of things I'm very calm about. But when it comes to my livelihood, when it comes to me feeling like I got played, it ain't that much calmness in the fucking world. It ain't. I lost my cool. Like I said, of course I'm black and I turned down another job for this shit. Like, and I was like, what's the reason? She's like, she said, oh, it's lack of work. And I did notice it was quiet around, this time, but I'm like, I mean, it's around the holiday time. Like, of course it's going to be quiet. Like, so I just banged it after a while. I heard her talking, and she gonna have the nerve to tell me we're putting your resume through the databases to get you a job immediately. I'm looking at that phone like, bitch, I don't want to work with y'all no more. You cutthroat us. Y'all cutthroat. She said, yeah, we was trying to push it. We was trying to push them letting you go. But they said, I'm like, so this whole time they knew that this company's trying to let me go. And they're just now telling me this company is letting me go the next day. Like, so y'all been knew this. Like, yeah. like like the level of anger I felt, and but like just like yo, like mind you, I still have a 15-minute phone call with the actual recruiter of the actual company. So I hop on the phone with her and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you already know I'm about to leave. But I don't know if you know, but I had another opportunity and I turned it down because this lady from the recruiting company told me they could match giving me more money. Why the recruiting lady of the company was like, give you more money. We never agreed to that. We never agreed to that. So pretty much the recruiting company, not even pretty much, the recruiting company lied to me about giving me more money because they wanted me to stay with the company. It was never a raise. It was never more money. The company I was with never agreed to give me more money. Never agreed. So I'm like, what you mean y'all didn't know? So she said, do you have proof of this? I sent her the text, the text of the proof. I said, here you go. Like, here's the proof. Like, and she said, wow, yeah, we never agreed to that. I could laugh about this now because, yo, like, so anyhow, she said, but I'm gonna try to figure out what's going on. Even though I probably would have turned down that other company regardless, whether they said yes or no, because again, it was kind of like I was fine. I felt fine where I was at. But I feel like the fact that y'all took that option from me by lying to me, that's the part that really had me tight. Because at least if y'all was honest, like, yo, we can't do it. They can't do it. They won't do it. So it's up to you if you want to stay or leave. I would have been like, I bet. Now I know what to do with this information. Now I can make a decision from here. But I really took it as, okay, this is a sign that I'm supposed to stay where I'm at. But all this time, y'all was lying because I think what I heard is that recruiters, the longer you are with a job that the recruiter got you put onto, they still, I think they get some kind of bonus or more money. If you're a recruiter, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Why do y'all need people to stay? Like, because her lying was just like, what was the reason for lying? You already got your commission for getting me hired. What was the reason for lying if you see, if I'm telling you I got something else? Now the recruiter of the actual company is like, all right, I'm gonna see what I could do, whatever. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes. I don't know if the actual recruiting company was like, hey, this girl keep pushing for more money and she only been here for like a month and a half or 2 months. Now I go home tight. Of course I'm tight. And I still go to work the next day. It was hybrid, even though I was not gonna go, but everybody like, oh, you should go. It shows what they said, professionalism. I didn't give a fuck about professionalism. I'm like, they clearly not professional. Why would I be professional? Like, but I still went. I still went, but I was waiting for any inkling that it was my last day. So now the recruiter of the actual company gets back to me and she's like, they said they're gonna honor the raise that they told you in your last few paychecks. I'm like, okay, cool. I said, so just to be clear, today is definitely my last day. She's like, yeah. I packed up so fast. Yeah, it was like 12 p.m. when I got this confirmation. I was like, bye, deuces. I just dipped. That was the day that I'm like, yo, people are really grimy. Like, people are grimy. You seen it because I seen like, what it is? I'm from Harlem, right? So I've seen a lot of like hood grimy stuff. I've seen like street grimy stuff. I've heard of street grimy stuff. I've been through stuff. But in corporate, which I've been through some messed up stuff in corporate, but I think this is by far the worst thing I've been through in corporate. And you hear about how cutthroat people are. My father, everybody always tell me like people are just cutthroat for $1. And you know this, right? Like this, but to actually experience it is a different story. Like you really get to see how grimy people are for $1. Like you really get to see that. Yeah, so that was my last day. But let me tell you how good God is though. God is so good because rewind an hour before I found out I was getting let go, two recruiters reached out to me in my email that literally an hour before I found out I was getting let go. Two recruiters. One was like, I got this opportunity for you. I said, yeah, of course, submit me. But the other one, I was like, oh yeah, I want this one. But I'm outside now, about to go home, and I'm on the phone with my dad, and he's like, Nene, don't stress it. Like, you'll be fine. Like, all this is doing is like making space for a better opportunity. And it's something that I knew this. I know these things, but to hear someone else say it is always the best too. Like, so he's really like speaking life into me. Like, don't worry about them. Take this as a little vacation for right now. You'll be fine, Nene. Like, you always bounce back. Like, so I really needed that. Like, because it's something that I know. I know I always bounce back. I know I'm always good. But when you hear someone speak life into you, it really makes a lot of difference. Like you don't feel so alone. That's why I really recommend when you go through things, talk to people. Like you don't feel so alone. Feel me? Like, cause that could feel like a very lonely feeling. Like you could just feel like you're just by yourself and something grimy just happening. You have no one to talk to. Like that's a terrible feeling. Like, so I really appreciate my community a lot. Like, so yeah, like I went home, I chilled. So now I left a little part out. So after I found out I was getting let go, I think about an hour or two later, um, the recruiter reached back out to me and was like, oh, the company that I really wanted, she said they would love to interview you. I said, oh, perfect. So it's crazy. I got the interview confirmation, I think about an hour or two after I found out the next day was my last day. So now it's like I have interviews lining up, like, so I'm like, perfect. Like, so, but of course, I'm still like, that's just an interview, like I'm excited. I know I got it, but I'm like, don't, just it's good to be excited, but still, like you got to still get the job. So now, present, after I'm on the phone with my dad, I'm telling him, I'm like, well, I still have the interview for tomorrow with the company I really want. And then actually, later that day, I ended up getting hit up by another recruiter who was like, hey, we have an opportunity for you. If you do you want to apply to it? So now I have two interviews lined up, like within like 2 days. I have two interviews lined up. And Actually, I have both of those interviews, the first round scheduled for the next day. So it's like, I know I'm all over the place, but it's just like I had recruiters reach out to me about a job. I found out I was getting let go the next day. I got let go the next day. I'm on my way home and I confirmed that I'm available for 2 interviews for the next day. So, yeah, the next day I had 2 interviews. First rounds, I knocked it out. They both loved me. And then I had a second round with the actual company I really wanted on that, like another day. That went great. I knew I had it. But then in the other company that interviewed me too, they wanted a second round. So God is so good because then that's when the recruiter of the company I really wanted got back to me and was like, yeah, the company wants you. They want to hire you. And I'm like, wow, the company I really wanted that has benefits, that's paying more than the other 2 jobs, a job that I could really learn from, a job that is in creativity, it's mine now. And I'm like, wow. So, yeah. So what can we learn from this, right? So what I've learned, for starters, never go by one person's word. What I messed up at is that I went by one person saying yes to a raise when I should have really confirmed with more people, when I should have confirmed with the actual company. That was, I take ownership for that, but it was one of those things like I don't feel bad about it. It's not something I feel like, damn, Danae, like, why was you not thinking? I don't feel like that at all. I have no regrets about how I handled anything. Because when we go to these recruiters, that's like a trust thing. Like, I mean, don't trust nobody, but you're still kind of like, the recruiter is supposed to really have your best interests at heart for the most part. You hope so. So when these recruiters are the ones getting you the jobs, when they are the ones paying you, when they are the ones you go to for, for help and questions, it's like you're forming this like kind of like this professional trusting bond. And she was not trustworthy at all. She was very snake cutthroat for $1. That's one thing I should have went to someone else. A friend of mine told me that I should have never told them that I had another job position. He said that was me like showing my hand. He said I should have just told them like, hey, is it possible that I could get more money or like flexibility within the raise? I get where he's coming from, but I guess I took it as they're not going to try to really give you a raise when you just started. That's why I added, hey, I have another opportunity. So again, I'm not beating myself up about it because who would have thought this would have happened, right? Like no one would have thought that. Number two, this is just confirmation that when doors close, a better one opens, right? Like I wasn't really that excited about the record label anyways. And, me getting let go out of nowhere was just like, what the hell? Like, so it's just things happen because something better is coming. And this was literally a testimony that something is better is coming. If you think doors are getting closed, something better is coming. Don't take the door closing as the end all be all. It's literally making room for something even better. So, and everything happens for a reason. God is putting everything. This was all God, y'all. Like it was all God. Like the way all of this lined up was all God. Like finding out I'm about to get let go, but an hour before that, I get hit up about jobs was just crazy to me. Like, like God knows all. God knew this was gonna happen. So God places opportunity on my lap. Cause he like, girl, you about to get let go. So I got you. Like, so God knows all, God sees all. So can't tell me God not real. Number three, and I hope I'm not forgetting something, but this is why I'm so big on going after your dream career. That's why I'm so big on that, because these companies, these people could do whatever the hell they want to you, and you have no say so. You have no say. So they looking at you as just another like you're not even human. Like you're like another number to them. That's why I will always say, go after your dream career. Whatever you want to do, go after it. It might take time for the fruits of your labor to pay off. It might not take time for the fruits of your labor to pay off. Who knows? But if you are consistently just working for these jobs without ever thinking, what do I want? What do I love? What do I want to do? Then you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself. Or if you at least don't have something on the side you can fall back on in case these companies want to flip on you, you're playing yourself. It's like, okay, cool. You got these jobs to pay for your bills and pay for your livelihood. I get it, because trust me, I get it. But to literally let these jobs be your end all be all, to be like, hey, I'm just going to bounce around from company to company, or hey, I'm just going to stay with this company that don't give a damn about me for all these years without ever doing what I love, what I could, like, I just, it rubs me the wrong way so bad. It rubs me that's why honestly I took the summer off from even working, because I just didn't want to deal with it. Like I didn't want to deal with it. Honestly, like I hate that people can control your life so much. People can control what they do to you so much. It's like they're waving a paycheck over your head. Like, hey, I can do what I want to you. I can say what I want. I can let you go whenever I want. I can do whatever I want to you because you need me. I don't really need you. I can find another you in a heartbeat. And I can't. We're too special. We're too amazing. We're just too good to be like, I'm just another number in the company's list. Like, if you love yourself, you will really put in work for yourself. You would literally find a way to pay yourself. So with or without a company, you're good. Again, this don't gotta be overnight. It might take a year or two or three to pay off before you really start paying yourself. It could take time, but at the end of the day, a year, 2 or 3 is going to pass regardless. And it's up to you on whether or not you have progress with your own stuff, or you're just still sitting there being like, I want to, but I could, but like if it's a shoulda, coulda, woulda mentality. Because again, God willing, if you have more time on this earth, it's going to come regardless. The years are going to come regardless. But it's up to you about what you do with every single year, with every single month, with every single week, with every single day. It's up to you what you do with your time. That's why, again, I will always preach, follow your heart, get a side hustle, make a business, do something that you don't rely on these companies. And again, if you got to rely on a company for now to make ends meet, it's okay. Things happen. But at least still work on your own stuff so that don't got to be the end goal forever. I will always do my own stuff. Period. Me being on YouTube right now is me doing my own stuff. Me making ebooks, me about to get back into songwriting, me doing everything I do is me doing what I love and betting on myself. And be grateful for what you do have. Be grateful for where that you do got income. Be grateful for that, okay? But never let it get you too comfortable that you forget about yourself. And as far as the company names and who are they, I'm not going to say that because I'm not trying to get sued for defamation, honestly. But if you ever see me leaving a review, I have a review. I left a review. So if you see my name somewhere on Google one day underneath that recruiting company, then just know that's them. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I definitely left a terrible review. Because I wanted to be like, yo, beware of these people. Never give up on your dream. Never give up on your dream life. I hope this inspires you and motivated you to, for 2025, to like really bet on yourself. Because I am. I've been doing it this whole year, but I'm locking in even more next year. So I really hope this encouraged you. That's my story time. I hope y'all loved it. So yeah, again, bet on yourself. Invest into yourself. I have a glow up blueprint ebook for you if you want to really like lock in for the new year. I talk about my personal glow up, what I do, how far I came from all that, like the limited mindset of being insecure and feeling like you're not good enough and feeling like, oh, like I'll wait. Invest in your mindset, invest in your looks, literally just heal from it, so that the more you heal, the more you know what you deserve. Okay, it really starts in your brain. So anywho, I love y'all. I love y'all. It's really about to be a new year. Relax, pace yourself. You don't gotta be perfect. It's progress over perfection. Pace yourself, y'all. You don't gotta go into the new year being because that was me. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta be perfect. Nah, progress over perfection. Progress, progress, progress. All right, be safe, y'all. Love y'all. Happy New Year, and bye.